This is a brief introduction to Tinkercad, a wonderfully simple yet extremely sophisticated 3D modeling tool you run inside of a web browser on your computer. Go to Tinkercad.com. There you can create an account or sign into an existing one. I've already created an account. Let me sign in. Once signed in, you'll be exposed to your dashboard, if you will. It's a collection of all the projects you have, and it indicates whether those projects are public or private. You get little previews of what you've been working on as well, and sometimes you can rotate them a little bit and see the different shapes there. You can give projects names, you can share them, you can do all sorts of things. Let's experiment with Tinkercad by creating a new model. I'll press the Create New Model button. There you'll be exposed to what they call the work plane or work area. It's basically a grid that represents the printing area or printing surface of your 3D printer. On the right-hand side, you'll see lots of components and objects, geometric shapes that can be pulled in and manipulated. We'll grab this cube and move it in. Now, the thing about working with 3D models is it's a whole new way of manipulating your mouse and your cursor. You don't just go up and down, you actually go in and out of space. You have 3 dimensions, so you'll have to get used to using the control key, manipulating your mouse in different ways. Here we are rotating the cube around space, X, Y, and Z axes. Now, when you select a shape, you're able to manipulate it. You can change its size. Here we'll basically make it a little wider, and maybe we'll make it a little deeper as well. You can grab these handles like you would in 2-dimensional drawing programs, except now you're working with more handles because you've got more ways to manipulate the object, including growing its height. So let's move our model back a little bit here, and let's see if we can make it a little bit taller. There we go. We'll squeeze it up here. So we've taken a rather small 3-dimensional cube and we've made it a little bit larger. Okay, now let's add another shape to our working area. We'll grab this 3-dimensional cylinder. As we move it closer into our cube, you'll see its size basically adjusts to reflect where it is in our work plane. Here we show us manipulating it by rotating the object. Now, if we take this object, we'll make it a little bit longer, if you will, kind of a longer 3-dimensional cylinder here. If we push it into our 3D cube, you'll see that the objects kind of blend together. In essence, we've created a new shape, and if we were to print this on a 3D printer, that's exactly what we would get. It might be one color, but we'd get a cube that has an intersecting cylinder. Well, that might not be very interesting. What if we could make that cylinder represent a hole in our cube? So, what if we could create a hole in our cube that we could see right through? Well, in Tinkercad, that's super easy. First thing I'll do is basically show you that we can also align objects here. We can align them on centers, we can align them vertically on one of the sides. So I've kind of centered my objects together here so that that cylinder is right in the middle of the cube. But let's see, let's make it basically stick out a little bit further. There we go. We can clearly see that that cylinder goes right through our red cube. So now all we have to do is tell Tinkercad that that cylinder is a hole. It kind of looks the same right now, nothing too special, but now when we combine our objects and tell Tinkercad to group them together, look what it does. It calculates the intersection of those 2 objects. So in essence, what we've just done now is we have created a hole in our cube. You can create similarly sophisticated objects. Actually, you can create objects that are much more sophisticated than this very easily in Tinkercad. And I think what makes the program so fantastic is it's really quite easy to do. The other nice thing, even though it's web-based, is Tinkercad is constantly saving your work. And you can go backwards and forwards if you make a mistake or want to change things. What you're looking at right now is just a quick sample, a model I made for the Eastside 3D Printer Build Camp. I took a rectangular area, I put some text on it, and turned that text into a hole. When I combined the objects, Tinkercad, again, calculated the intersection of those objects and made a 3D object with some type that looks like a hole. Thanks for watching.